3. Yo, what's up, everybody? This is the Cloud9 podcast, season 6, episode 15. So I thought to myself, well, we were going to only have the last episode you guys saw as the last episode for the year for the show. But then I was like, well, I could probably just do an actual power rankings instead of a tier list, actually, because most people are probably going to want to know, how did you actually order the teams yourselves? But other than that, there hasn't been much that's been going on, for the League of Legends scene. Like, literally, until the season starts, all I'm going to be doing is just doing, commentary videos, which I'm going to be releasing those in the upcoming days, actually. I haven't got a chance to record even one because, honestly, I've just been so busy with working the holidays, because when you work the holidays, you work 6 days of the week, and then your body's insanely dead. So that's just kind of how that works. But today, we will be doing the LCS 2023 Spring Split Power Rankings. Now, for me, I thought I was going to try out a little bit of something different, just going through the teams and just ranking them as I feel about them, right on the spot for you guys. So this is my little thing here, too. Let's see what is also going to be talking today. I think James should be joining. I mean, I sent him the link to join already. He said he was going to be joining.
Oh, no, he's playing League 2. That's me. He should be getting out of the game. Let me message him right now. Join the live stream.
Yeah, he'll probably be here in a little bit. So we're going to have to hear his interesting takes. Because was it last night? Yeah, it was last night. He was talking about Ariana Grande. No, it was the Tuesday stream. He said Ariana Grande was better than Mariah Carey at vocals. I was like, okay, man. I don't know what level of crack you were smoking, but I don't want any of that shit. Holy fucking
yeah, I was
shit.
like, okay, he gonna die in that hill.
Yeah. There. I agree. All shit is like subjective when it comes to this shit, but you can die on that one. You can have that yourself. I'll be a part of that. Oh my lord. But what's crazy is like Sean sent me a video a while ago that he wanted me to cover, but no one's actually covered this story in esports, unlike I think Thorin. So it's a weird story to cover because we really don't know the true optics of it based off of, Danny and Evil Geniuses. Now, what I do know, because I even looked into the rules myself, Riot let EG get off with murder in these last playoffs, actually.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't think this would have happened for any other team, personally, if you ask me. But, the fact that they were able to essentially break their own rules for Evil Geniuses, and most likely was because, they were the Spring Split champion. They went to MSI, they made top 4, and they were the best team in the regular season, record-wise and pretty much mostly play-wise. The fact that Evil Geniuses had 2 jungle subs doesn't make any sense at all, because they probably didn't think Danny was going to have a mental breakdown, which is fair. I mean, you don't anticipate that. It's just really not that. It's not that it's odd in League. It's more like it's never really like that talked about.
It's unusual because you tend to, if someone gets sick and can't play, yeah, that's one thing. But if someone's physically able to play, but mentally, a lot of times it's like mentally. What do you mean mentally you can't play? Because it's like, if physically, oh yeah, he's sick. All right, cool. We'll just put this guy in. But mentally, because in most people's minds, when you say mentally, you're thinking, okay, this person's going to be out for a bit, but...
My thing with it is, if this was any other team, Riot would have simply just told them, no, you have to play with the people you listed as subs. Guys, they actually let EG put another player in that they didn't have listed as subs. So for playoffs, whoever is listed as your subs plays for you if there's any like emergency situation or if you have to make a substitute. EG listed Tomo and one of their coaches as subs. I don't. Tomo I can understand, but why would they list one of their coaches, especially Jungle, when they had literally arguably one of the best players in the LCS in Inspired? It's like, what are you doing? Like, even that stupid. But it's like, okay, they didn't expect Danny to have a mental breakdown. Fine, I guess, right? But then, if that was any other org, you got to play with those players though in that position, right? You gotta play with those.
More or less.
Tomo got to go to ADC, or that coach guys has to go to ADC. You know. They're like, you know what? You can use Kaori. But doesn't that break the rules? I mean, that breaks the rules.
Unless they found a loophole and they were able to use their academy players because you know there's always a loophole.
That are listed. You could only do that if they're listed as a sub. That's what they should have did. They should have listed Kaori a while ago.
But then and I don't know all the rules because you could. I think they found. I think Ryan might have switched on where they say anybody that's active on the team, academy or sub, is allowed to switch. They must have found something because Danny was not sick. He was physically able to play. Just whether they found, like I said, there's a loophole with what happened with Danny, because anytime somebody caught the COVID, it was always whatever stuff he had. But this is something else. That's what I'm saying. I'm trying to find out. Yeah, dude, James, I was so close to winning, and fucking my computer crashes, and I come back and we're losing. Oh man, I had the best Seraphine game ever. Best Seraphine game.
Last night, this man was turbo sprinting it on Urgot, and all he had to do, we realized, was just click Q and ult people. And I was like, yeah, you just kind of win.
But then none of y'all was doing shit.
I locked down 4 people, and you guys watched me die. No, what is wrong with you crackheads?
You was turbo sprinting it.
What the fuck?
You
what game was that?
The Morgana game where I had like 30 assists? What are you talking about?
But at the minute you even got half an inch in front of anybody else, you got motherfucking murdered.
That might have been my fault because I didn't build tanky enough.
You talking about the game I played Fizz on? Oh my god,
nigga, we won that Urgot game.
We
won every game almost.
Yeah, the only game we lost was because I trolled and I picked Evelyn over playing Yasuo. That was when we lost. Oh my god,
that was when James was playing that fit out of his damn mind. You had a lot of assists, but my death and your death came because we would try to help somebody else to get.
Apparently, if you try to frontline as a Morgana, you're not supposed to do that.
That fucking Twitch, dog. That Twitch ain't assisting nobody. And
there was like so many times he could have actually like probably killed all of them. He just like kind of sat there and was like, "Should I really go all in?" Yes, you should, because you just. His damage over time. It's like, yes, you should.
But the best game I had was that fucking terror game. That was literally just me sitting back and like, all right, cool. I'm a tether to you, and we just go like I'm gonna just E the whole time.
So for anyone who's watching, it's one of these things where that means I can understand why Kaori left them. Kaori left because they didn't believe in him either. They didn't even list him as a sub. They didn't believe in him.
They listed him as a sub, and they brought him. They used the academy loophole to bring him up.
They'd rather list a coach who was gold 5 over Kaori, who was on their academy team. So Kaori was like, "All right, I'll just get my stage debut. I'll just play at Worlds, and I'm just gonna go to another team."
Yeah,
I can respect that. They did not list this guy because they didn't really think. Maybe they were going to use him, and they didn't think he was good enough to play standing in general. This is how league functions. For anyone who's going to spout you bullshit, dude, in future splits, don't listen to them. The 5 players they initially signed in the offseason are the players they want to play with. Because I know these orgs are going to go, but I really wanted to sign this. No, you didn't. No, you did not. That's not how that works.
No, sometimes it is, but you got to look at the business side of it. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you want to sign a player, but if that player wants too much money or can't get a visa to come over here. But there are times where you don't want to sign that player. Like, one of the never wanted to sign Speaker. They use Speaker as like, all right, cool. If we have to lose closer, we'll pick up Speaker, but we're keeping Someday. They knew they would go keep someday or close it. But then they knew once Beergen and Double Lift were coming, Speaker wasn't coming.
Yeah.
Speaker's still fucking tilted from, was it 2, 3, 4 years ago when?
No, he's tilted from how TSM treated him this year. He was fucking French.
No. I'm saying from when he played with Double Lift.
Oh yeah. My thing with Speaker is there was no way in this world that as a GM you're thinking to yourself, okay, I have pretty much an MVP and closer, and I want to switch him out with Speaker, who he didn't really look that, despite TSM having a lot of issues, he didn't look that good this year anyway.
It'll come down to the player who's better at work. It comes down to money and the business side. The business side will fuck you over. Every time there was a player in baseball, basketball, football that went to a shittier team because of the money or the aspect of being the top player.
Yeah, because I forgot in NBA and NFL you have the draft system for the LCS. It all comes down to your agent. Your agent could be handling like two players. They'll get you the one player, the good team, but the other player may be sitting out, and he gets the shittier team.
Think about it. Closer could have got a deal to go back to the LEC and play for whatever team that needed a jungle over there. He could have got like an extra bonus. Okay, if you get this for being a jungler, boom.
I don't know why G2 didn't sign closer. I don't. G2 could have made an offer for closer.
G2 could have made an offer, but one of the Thieves just like mashed. Okay, they found out about the offer, mashed it, then doubled it or gave them incentives. A lot of times, like there'll be someone that's only making $10,000 base, and then their incentives make it that they make over $300,000. Okay, get this. Make sure that when you lane, make sure you kill these many bots. Make sure
many hours too. Yeah,
play this many hours. Get these many kills. There, if you get over 30 champion kills in like 5 games, or like if you get this many kills in a split, you get extra $50,000 to $100,000. Like there are bonus incentives too on their contracts. Like if you make playoffs, extra money or whatever, something like that. That's how I knew Speaker was like once I started digging back into history, and I looked at that game where Speaker was what the fuck he stunned his own team, and then that shit, and I'm like, and then I started watching him on the live stream. He was never going back. Even though he likes Double Lift and Beergen, he can't play with them. That's like Kobe and Shaq. Kobe and Shaq like each other, but they can't play on the same team again.
Well, it's because Double Lift and Beergen are just very set in their ways of how they're going to play the game. At this point in their careers, they're not changing. That's just who they are is just who they are.
And that's why Speaker can't go to a team they're on, because that's why Speaker went on TSM. He was like, okay, it was like
the idea most likely was I'm gonna be on this team and I'll beat them if they're on different teams. That's what he's probably thinking.
Yeah, but
that did not happen because TSM has ran like dog shit.
And now TSM is even worse. Oh, let's invest in a crypto company that just started.
You know what also is crazy about that too? TSM got the FTX deal, and miraculously, Riot got the FTX deal. You know why they did that? Because the LCS realized who was running it, they can't get short up by their team in their league. The team in their league would have been making more money than the actual LCS itself. That's why they got the FTX deal. Like, it's crazy to think about. So, and they're also trying to relegate TSM to you can't call yourself TSM FTX. Oh my God. LCS is being petty as fuck. Name a more iconic duel than that. Oh, goodness. Like Cloud, but they didn't. So the LCS functions, man. Cloud9 is sponsored by Microsoft. They didn't be like, I mean, that's essentially probably the biggest deal any LCS team ever had. It's legitimate, guys. It's Microsoft that sponsors them.
Yeah.
The Microsoft. Like, that's probably the biggest deal any org's ever had in the league outside of the FTX thing. But the LCS is not going to tackle Cloud9 because, most successful NA organization at Worlds. And who's going to actually go at Microsoft as a sponsoring a team? They'd be foolish to do that. You get clapped back so hard.
And then next you know, Microsoft has acquired Riot Games for $42 billion.
Yeah, the problem is Riot Games is not it's a subsidiary now. which means that Riot Games is owned by Tencent.
Yeah, Riot's actually owned by Tencent. Blizzard was its own company. That's why they bought it, actually.
Yeah.
Because wait, can that deal still go through? Because that happened last year. No, I haven't heard anything about the Blizzard Microsoft deal in a while, honestly. Did they block it? I hope not.
I don't know anything. You're talking about Activision and
I remember Microsoft was acquiring to buy Blizzard last year. I've heard nothing about it since then. The government most likely blocked it because it's a huge thing. They'd be one of the biggest game retailers ever at that point.
Yeah, no, Tencent is substantially bigger than everybody else in terms of the gaming industry.
So for anyone who's watching, make sure you guys like the stream. The goal for these streams are usually like 5 likes anyway. You guys have probably already did that already. Michael, what's up, man? How you doing? Ziak, 10 p.m. sharp. Well, James was getting sex by a black girl.
No,
so
James
was,
was clapping motherfuckers in the game, and I was clapping, and my computer decided to die on me. But man,
PG, what? Michael, if you start watching League, then you could be joining these some days. But you're always playing hard to get, Michael. Michael always playing hard to get with me. What's up, Intense? How you doing, man? How you doing, dude? Hi, Dad. Black people don't have dads, Ziak. You know that. I'm just kidding with you guys. So before we go over the team's power rankings, I just know what I'm going to do with mine. The LCS schedule changes. So I've already mentioned this before my channel update video. There's going to be 2 Cloud9 podcast episodes a week moving forward because the days are just too close and there's no way that I could get it all together in time for you. So most likely Tuesday or Wednesday will be the LEC episode and Saturday or Sunday would be the LCS episode. And that's only just for the regular season, and playoffs is probably going to play it a little bit differently, but that's how it's going to work moving forward. I can't put them together anymore because there's just not going to be enough time, and I'm literally not going to be able to manage that because there's another thing coming up in my life that I got to take care of for the first part of the year that this man is making me do right there, that white man, and then even with this big giant thing happening, I'm trying to, scale down my time a little bit. So
yeah, dimension shifter, Yu-Gi-Oh, baby, yeah, dimension shifter. We motherfucking glad.
God damn, I hate that card. Good lord. Michael, you better give me some hot Latina chicks, I'm gonna be on an episode one day. Only if you're white. If you're white, you can. We're very discriminative around here. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, man, I can.
Oh,
that
shit.
Tina pussy the best pussy, man. The motherfucking girl's always wet.
The other thing that I'll say about this is I know a lot of people have been bitching and moaning about the LCS viewership.
Yep.
Look at it this way. A lot of people have been bitching and moaning about the viewership. At least they're attempting to try something. You gotta respect it in some.
They pushed it into non-main time slot because
to get
of the
European
fact that,
viewers.
No, they're not developing the machine anymore. They're just maximizing profits by doing it in a non-optimal time for American people now.
Yeah, so
that's not. Oh, we're trying to do something. That's we're giving up on America as its own region.
Yeah.
So no, they're not doing something. Don't respect them for doofus stuff like that.
I think it's the attempt to get the European viewers on because I think that's a bigger audience. Because you put it at those time slots, 12 p.m. PST? Yeah, that means it would be easier for European people to watch if they want to.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
And that to them is probably a bigger demographic than the people that watch here, which has been proven.
But don't say they didn't try and do nothing. They're trying to do nothing.
They're trying something. They changed the time zones and the days.
They're trying to give up on developing a scene out here. That's exactly what's happening. It's very obvious. Apparently,
the scene of people here is already capped. That's it. Like
there's no cap. Don't say capped.
What do you mean?
It's not capped at all. It's
the viewership's capped out for a while at this point.
It's not a cap because it hasn't grown. That doesn't mean anything.
No, it capped out one point, and now it's been on the decline ever since.
I think you're misunderstanding. It's not capped out. It's just not growing.
No, I'm saying it was capped out at a certain point. Then it declined, and then now it's at what? How much is the average viewership? I was always looking at 25,000 people on YouTube. Now I only watch on YouTube and sometimes on Twitch. The viewership for me was always between 25K, and then if like Dig would play IMT.
The reason it's not called it's capped out is because of the fact that it can definitely still grow from the place it was. Even if it hasn't, it still has the ability to. It's not capped. It just isn't growing.
Well, that's a lot of reasons why it hasn't been growing.
It's not growing because of the fact that, again, it's just League is not as big a game in America as it is in other countries. That's just the reality of life.
Yeah, so I understand the change to maybe get,
Yeah, but I'm not going to say, good job, right, you did your best. I'm going to say, okay, they're giving up.
if they keep it in the same time slot and the viewership stays the same, people are just going to keep bitching and moaning about that. So you might as well change something. Can't sit there and just do nothing for the same.
It's just not optimal for my time zone. The changes they're making, I don't.
Yeah, we can watch VODs. You'll be okay.
That's lame. I shouldn't have to watch VODs on my own region.
They have rebroadcast too.
I want to watch it live. I mean, this is just
you can watch it live with the rebroadcast too.
That's not exactly how.
I'm just saying there are other methods.
No, there's not any other methods to watch it live.
Okay, what's the number one thing about watching it live? That you get to interact with the chat. That's the
you
thing.
Get to do that. You get to see it live. It's a lot more suspenseful when you haven't got spoiled or anything like that.
That's understandable quality. If you're talking about football games, because those can get spoiled real quickly. No, when it comes to these, a lot of times
they get spoiled quite a bit for me.
You care about Golden Guardians versus IMT getting spoiled to you?
I didn't specifically talk about any games. I didn't even say Golden Guardian for anything. I said specific games can get spoiled, and I'm in that corner of the internet where people do spoil stuff like that. I'm in a goofy, nerdy version of the internet.
Oh, yeah, I mean, what I do is I just stay off those certain parts until I get home and I watch the game myself. That's what I do. You got to just change things up a little bit, But the viewership was stagnant for like.
Stagnant is a better word. I like that.
I mean, but there was a point where it was capping out at very high numbers and it declined. That's just
but that's not that doesn't just mean that's the cap.
Because I think that is actually
you have a lot of different reasons. For what reason?
I do actually. For one, we had a lot more interest in the scene back when it first started. We had a lot more bigger personalities that drew in a lot of more viewership, a lot of bigger rivalries too. Then when a lot of that started to fade away, the people that liked those players and those personalities.
But the thing about it is,
thus the viewership
declines with it. You're not understanding the word cap.
Also,
right now.
Also the LCS play at Worlds.
You're capping about the word cap right now.
Oh my lord!
You're just improperly using it, and that's what's bothering me. Because it's
if I said the word peak, it's the same thing.
Peaking is fine. Peaking is no.
That's the same thing as capping.
No, it's not. It's not the same thing.
Oh my lord! Who cares?
I'm bothered by it.
It peaked at a certain point. You cannot deny that, and it has been on decline. Those are the actual numbers.
Never disagreed with that.
This man is already semantical bullshit.
It is semantics because it's a very important detail that you were
viewership capped out at a certain point and peaked at a certain point. And it was watching is going to believe me.
I will drive over to your house right now.
I will come to your house and get on my knees and suck your dick right now. Why don't you just this animal? But back in my day, we used the word cap.
Yeah, you can act all goofy all you want, man. You said, wow, and they capped and they're giving up. No, they're giving up because it's peaked and they don't think they can come back. They don't think it's going to come back.
Exactly. I'm not saying
it's not good. It's the wording that I'm bothered by.
It doesn't matter. It just means the same thing.
It doesn't mean the same thing.
Moving on. What I mean is the viewership isn't going to come back. Despite what this crazy man is saying for various different reasons.
Said it was coming back. I just said.
Why are you gaslighting me? And why are you yelling at me?
I'm not gaslighting you.
Dang, you better relax.
This man is yelling at me for certain word specifications.
You better relax,
and I don't like you. All right, so all joking aside, the viewership just hasn't been what it was, and there's many different reasons to that. A lot of people don't realize this. There was a lot of more bigger names in the LCS. So, there's two different avenues you can look at it through. Okay, so in the NFL, NBA world, Lakers versus Celtics, Lakers versus Spurs, Miami Heat versus Spurs, all these big rivalries are always big in the NBA. For the fucking hell, for baseball, it's what the Yankees versus Giants, right?
No, it was Yankees.
Is it Yankees?
No,
the Giants are there somewhere, right?
No, it was the New York Giants back in the 50s. New York Yankees versus Red Sox.
What's been the modern biggest one that everyone always watches no matter what?
Dodgers Giants.
Giants. Okay,
Dodgers Giants, Yankees Red Sox.
Astros and everybody else.
Astros and
Dodgers.
Honestly. Astros, Red Sox, Astros, Yankees.
So like
anything Astros really. Yeah,
so like you have Yankees, Red Sox, Celtics versus Lakers. Those are like everyone knows those matchups. Even if you're not a fan of those teams,
those
are big ones. Yeah, so you have like Cowboys versus Eagles, Yankees versus Red Sox, Lakers versus Celtics, right? Even if you're not a fan of those teams, you watch those games because the rivalry is intensive, it's big, it's a lot of history to it. The LCS had that at some point. TSM CLG. Now, that wasn't mine because I never thought that was really a rivalry anyway. I thought TSM was just better most of the time anyway. But we had one. It was Cloud9 versus TSM, which is the big Lakers versus Celtics rivalry in the LCS. Now, a lot of people, there was people that even commented, they're like, hey, why aren't they promoting C9 versus TSM after all these many years? I was like, I don't know. Like, C9 versus TSM was the LCS's big rivalry.
Yeah, but when was the last time both of them were like, wow, we're both good?
Well, no, just look at it last year. Last year, the third place decider match for that team to make Worlds, right? Cloud9 knocks out TSM. The year before, TSM knocks out Cloud9 going to Worlds, and the year before that was obviously C9. There's a lot of years of history with that matchup for so many different roster iterations that they did more in the pandemic to promote that rivalry than they did now. And then, I mean, now the newest rivalry you could say is like Team Liquid versus 100 Thieves. I don't know how that's going to develop. I don't know if that is going to develop like C9 versus TSM, but C9 versus TSM would be like your modern LCS, like Lakers versus Celtics rivalry that pretty much died out this year because TSM just kind of sucked and sort of kind of clowned to a certain extent. But, rivalries can always bounce back. Not every year is going to be a banger. G2 versus Fnatic is a very big one. The Telecom Wars is a big one. Even the Telecom Wars were exciting this year, despite KT Rolster being like borderline almost Worlds ready, to a certain extent. I think what's missing in the LCS is, personalities. Like I'm a Cutie Pie's gone. There's a lot of big personalities gone. And when a lot of those big personalities gone, people just stop watching. And also, people need to factor this in too. When something new is big as League was, eventually it is going to peak out at a certain point. Let me make sure my terminology correct. This is crazy, man.
And peak is when what people don't realize about peak is peak means at the highest point at any time. Like it could be money, it could be audience, it could be like
I'm talking just audience from that. Just audience.
Audience peak might have been I think popularity peak was 2018. I think that might have been.
Yeah, there were years for the LCS between like 2014 to like 2018 probably is the best years.
Because if you're looking at popularity and like competitiveness, 2018 competitive, like LCS was probably the most competitive year of the LCS because of how far Cloud9 got to. Because all it takes is one team reaching a certain distance and winning, or in a sense. In
my opinion, the LCS is dying because TSM sucks.
That's a very reasonable take, to be honest with you. Like the fact that one of the arguably the most popular team in the LCS is not competitive at all is a big deal.
That's a big deal. That is, yeah.
It's one of the largest viewer base.
That doesn't mean the league's dying. Like,
I'm not saying the league is dying. That's why I'm saying cap is not the right word because I think it could come back still. I don't think it.
There is a cap on people who are watching it. If you think about this.
Remember, don't use that word. He doesn't like that word.
Think about this. A cap is when the number of viewers or whatever number does not get any higher, but does not get any lower. It's that number. And if
that's the number it's been at on YouTube, 20 to 25K.
If your audience is constantly 25K viewers and never goes higher, at some point you gotta say you reached your cap. Doesn't mean it can't go higher. It can go higher. But if you can't get any more people than that amount watching it, then at some point you've capped out. There's no.
What's crazy about that number is that it's an average 20 to 25K for like big IMT games. It'll be like 17, 15K.
Or what you usually could say is instead of capping out, you plateau. Because if it goes 12, 15, 20, 21, 22, and it gets, and say you get to like 34,000, like that sometimes there was about 34,000, and then it just stays on that same line. That's when the cap, I can understand, but plateau. When it plateaus and does it go down?
And it's been like that for the latter part of like as this year ends, it's been 3 years with that number. They have to change something. It's not moving. Like I'm saying, Twitch, how much does it get on Twitch usually? Because I don't usually watch on Twitch.
The reality of why it's not sustainable is the moment you start giving up on making a cultural impact with the LCS in the NA scene, people and the talent that is developed with it stop growing together because of the fact that people in the scene aren't watching it. So you're not going to get people from the scene playing it. You're not going to get all these things. So the scene slowly dies. They're band-aiding it with the last ditch resort because they don't think it's ever going to come back is what they're doing. That's the reality of the situation.
Do you think that's teams or the LCS as a product itself?
What specifically you're asking me?
You talking about the L? Do you think
The
it can come
schedule
back from
change.
the?
I think it can come back.
Well, do you think it's going to come back from the LCS being a better product, like an overall better broadcast product, or the teams getting better? That's two different things.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I think if NA was relatively decent, there would be some. Like if they were in the World's Finals and they did well, they'd get a lot more viewers. At the same time, the reason is that they're not popular is not because of their skill, because a lot of people can't tell the difference. I'll be honest with you. I could show clips of gold people versus like Masters people. Most people could not tell the difference between these players.
Yes, but the difference with that, the thing you just brought up is those you don't see nameplates on. These you see nameplates on.
Kidding. No, what I'm saying is you could say nameplates all you want. If you don't know they're bad, you won't know. There's no difference.
The thing is, when you have nameplates on and you know that these guys are representing this region, then you're going to associate that region with that bad of play.
They don't know if that play is bad, is what I'm attempting.
They know those players are from that bad region, though, from the nameplates being on the players, though.
Look, they don't know the region is bad because they are not. You're talking about a hyperactive competitive thing. You need to understand in the mind of a casual, they don't know who's good and bad. They don't know what region's good and bad. They just.
But you know what they do know? Record scores. They know that the LCS went 3-15 this year.
They probably don't even. That's the biggest thing. They don't know that.
Oh, they highlighted in the broadcast. They know.
Oh, no,
I guarantee they do.
Highlighted enough
the average player literally could not even tell you. The average consumer of anything, even sports, couldn't even tell you what their favorite team's record was last year. In any sport, football, can't even tell you what their favorite team's record was the previous year.
In traditional sports, most people only kind of follow the one home team that they like.
Oh, man,
yeah, but I'm saying
then again, I'm an actual fan of most teams. That's me.
Yeah.
next were like I think 36. I forgot to actually win because I stopped watching. Yankees were 90. Yankees were 99. In 63. I think they came up. Giants last year. I think they were 5-12. So once my team gets eliminated from the playoffs, I stopped caring for the season.
For me, I think it's a bit different. I think that's the reason why EU has had that viewership.
It's not
when they made.
There's a cultural impact. While NA and EU were kind of equalized, there was a cultural impact on how people express. Like there's a lot more people in a normal society watching LCS. There's a lot more culturally accepted.
I think that's not how I see it. I see it as if like a casual sees the LEC in the World Finals for 2 years straight. They go, to me, a casual would see the LEC in the World Finals 2 years straight, and they would go, I think that region's pretty good. They make the World Finals 2 years straight. I'm going to watch that region.
No.
I think that's how it goes. I think that's the LCK is going to have probably record-breaking.
Well, I will just tell you the reality is people don't watch other regions. Just think about most people, the viewership from USA-based viewers went down for other games in the World Cup when it wasn't the USA playing. People like to support their region. It's a very big thing, even if they don't know the players. The
World Cup's different because people who live in America represent another country. They're gonna watch American games, but they're also gonna rep the country they're from. That's me. Once your team's out, you tend to stop watching unless you're a fan of soccer.
No, I'm agreeing with that. That's the same thing I'm saying. But the reality is, a lot of these players. The first year I ever watched the LCS when we started, I just tuned into the World Championship. Didn't know any of the players, and I started cheering for Cloud9 because they were an American team and they were progressive.
Right, but you were told they were an American team, but you just didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw the flag. That's how I pick my teams who I want to win.
That's what I was bringing up earlier, which is on the broadcast. If you were casual, they tell you where these guys are from. And since they're telling you Korea is the best region in the world, the casual is going to go, I don't got to watch the LCS. That's not the best region.
That's not
I'm going to watch the best region.
That's
how it works.
The casual will literally watch their region.
If the LCS was in the World Finals, I guarantee you the viewership would blow up.
It might go up. I'm not saying it won't.
Guarantee blow up because a casual is going to think that's the best region because they were in the World Finals.
Look, the reality is casuals would not go to watch the Korean broadcast because of the fact that it's not their region. They would
English-speaking broadcast.
It doesn't matter. They're coming to watch their own players.
I don't think it's because of their own region. I think if they don't have the accessible time to watch it, they're not going to watch it.
That's the thing, though. They actually don't, and it still does more better numbers than the LCS, though. They actually the games for us start at like 1 o'clock in the morning, and it has bigger numbers than the LCS does all the time.
You got the Korean, you got the Korean.
LPL goes first. They go like 12 our time, then Korea.
Yeah, first of all,
those are bad times. Like we can agree, those are bad times, and people still watch those more.
How many people in China is there? What, 3 billion? Come on, son.
Shit.
That's already a higher.
I don't even understand the China comparison. They have a billion.
No. I'm talking about just viewership numbers. Like,
look, I get that. What I'm saying, the reality is
because we're talking about bad scheduling numbers, right? In bad schedules for the LPL and the LCK, people are choosing to watch them.
You want to know why they are? Because casual people from America are just not watching League anymore. That is what's happening. They're not watching League. There's not a viewer base to gain in League, even if they're good, because people haven't been watching it. The reason it's not big is because the teams they want aren't good, specifically maybe, or the fact is that a lot of these people are. I mean, the fad in the rising growth of esports is a lot shorter lived in NA than other regions. A lot of these gains die out faster in this region than other regions. EU, Korea, China all last longer when it comes to longer term. Like what's it called? Like we see StarCraft, a lot less people reviewing it in America in comparison to the other regions and playing it. That's all these long-term ones do not last. All these little smaller, like you could see little games that you actually haven't even heard of have relatively large viewer bases for the esports scenes in other regions because esports as a whole is a lot more defined in the other regions. Esports is just in general bigger in other regions.
Yes, but we're also defining every casual as the same.
I'm not saying all of them are the same. I'm saying I think the majority, based on what I've seen and the people I've interacted with, I could say that I think that the large majority, because it's the same for football, the large majority of them will support their region, like because of the fact that they don't know that's who they pick, who they cheer for, and they will stick with that region if their region is bad, or the fact is their region is just not appealing. They don't have a reason to want. A lot of people came in because there's big streamer personalities back in the day, and this was the big esport for a while in the day. It has died out, but I don't think it's like it's somewhat. I'm not going to say it's not related to NA being bad. I do think it's related. I don't think it's the largest case.
Well, it's more like a prolonged LCS being bad at Worlds is going to have an effect at some point. Because if let's say you're a longtime viewer, let's say you've been watching for like 2 years. If the LCS isn't getting better, you're going to be like, I'm watching a different region. That's how people function. That's how big people
I don't think they would want. I think they would stop watching. I think that's why.
I don't disagree with that either.
That would be what it was. I don't think they would.
You have one of two things. They're going to go watch the better regions that they know are better, or they'll just stop watching.
But I don't think the largest reason the LCS is dying in NA is because of it being bad. I don't think that's the reason. I think the tonal shift for LCS has shifted because less people watch. It's an elongated game that you have to learn a lot about, and it drastically shifts with each meta. So a lot of people have to catch up and keep doing homework to be able to watch this game. It was big back in the day.
America, right?
I'm just saying it was big back in the day when the player base in America was bigger. The player base in NA is reflective of the viewership. It's par to par. I mean, it never even. It's not really about the quality of the games, which is fair enough. I do think it has some sort of an impact.
I think a casual can pick up that.
Yeah, but it's no, they can't. I promise you. Most people cannot.
Yes,
I would say 90% of people.
If you're watching a broadcast that is highlighting LCS is bad enough, that'll pick up in someone's brain. It just will.
I'm just telling you, it doesn't matter because of the fact that people cannot tell the difference. If they don't have local fact streams, that is a possibility. Importing 100 players from the I will be real with you. NA does not care. I mean, America literally does not care about importing.
America actually is founded upon kind of being a lot different.
See, the difference between America and the rest of the regions that don't quite understand this is all of our sports. We're like 90% of people are from different cultures and stuff like that. It's all different around in America. You run into different like in one day you can run into people from 16 different countries, and that's common.
Yeah, that's just an American thing. That's why I don't know why in America that's looked down upon.
It's not looked down upon here. EU looks down upon it because it's a different perspective for them.
But they do it themselves too. Like on a European team, you could have a guy from Sweden, from Belgium, from Denmark.
But look, the difference between what I'm saying is, first of all, they do have some sort of nationality thing they do like. I mean, a lot of these people will cheer for teams that are from the region, and that's why a lot of them are region-based teams. That's where they get their player base. Another reason I think that that it's a little different is because of the fact that, I mean, look at the difference between like the size in America versus the size of Europe as a whole. It's a lot different. It's a lot more like unity. There's
they talk funny too.
Well, no, I'm not saying it. I'm just saying there's a lot more unity in terms of just all these people in comparison to America specifically. They all have their own identities, but identify as European as a whole. Yeah. America is just a conglomeration of literally everybody in the world pushed into one country. So like it's just like, oh, is this guy really from here? He looks Korean to me. Oh, he was American born. I was like, just all these things. I think it's a little different. That's why I think importing is not weird to us, because we import every sport. And on top of the fact, I mean, it's not like a white dominated country for them all. White majority country that much anymore. So there are differences, but I think the reason that the LCS is dying is not because of imports. I think it's dying because the player base from NA has completely died out. It's shriveled up.
I wouldn't say dying, because a dying game would only have like 300 viewers on like Twitch. It has a base.
It's not about just purely the viewer base. The people who play League in general have quit on the game.
Well, most of them are trying to be streamers. That's the thing. It's not like
it's not even close to the majority of people that have stopped playing.
Yeah.
Like the people who have quit playing League are usually going to be the people who watch League. They have quit playing League, so there's less players. Viewers.
Yeah. So for me, if you're asking me, like, well, people have been asking about like the time schedule change. I don't think it has anything to do with schedule changes. I don't think that, because LPL, LCK, and EU come on very different times, and they do very well for viewership. So if people genuinely want to watch those other regions, they do, and they do it live when you can, obviously. Right? Yeah. I watch EU live on my break. If EU's going live, I'll watch it right when I'm on break. My 30-minute break, I'll watch, or my 10-minute break, obviously. If there's genuine interest in the league, you watch. You know, I'll even watch a rebroadcast. I'm not like you, I guess. I'll watch I don't personally care if you spoil the game. It doesn't matter if you spoil the game.
I watch the VODs. Like the minute they come out, I watch the VODs.
Yeah, because my thing
if I know I'm like 2 or 3 games behind, I'll literally just watch the VOD and go to the next VOD.
Because my thing here is like, I don't care if a game's spoiled. All that matters is how the game played out is really matter to me. Like, oh, did you get stomped? Did you get blown out? Did you get lucky? Different stuff, right? But I think there's not genuine interest in watching the LCS as a priority, like the LPL, like the LEC, like the LCK. I just don't think they're a priority in watching it. The CBLOL had more viewership than the LCS. The CBLOL did. This is Brazil. Brazil's garbage. Brazil is funny. We're talking people who stab people, who get mad at them for, I don't know, whatever reason. So if you're asking me personally, I think there's just not interest in the LCS, because viewership peaks out for the other guys, because I think it's just more interesting to watch their leagues. They're just better. I mean, if you're asking me, I'd rather watch LCK more times than LCS anyway. I don't care if I can't even speak the language. I'd just rather watch them. But that's just me personally. You know, would you like? It's like playing Yu-Gi-Oh. Would you rather watch the best players play, or rather watch like bad players play that you know are bad that are never going to get better? It's like that's mental insanity.
I think I will be honest with you. First of all, the fact that you can stomach getting spoiled is just surprising to me, because I couldn't stand it. I want to watch a game. I want to be on my toes. You can't do that if you already know the results. You can't be on your toes if you already know.
But if the results are blowout, I mean,
I'm just saying it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it'll save you from watching a boring blowout, but for the most part, like if you're watching a game, where's the excitement in when you already know the end result?
I want to see how the teams played it out. If you got blown out, I want to see how you got blown out. Or if it's a close game, I want to see how it was close. Like the Team Liquid Cloud9 game that they played earlier this year when LS was their coach. They played a really close game. I knew TL won, but I was like, I want to see how they lost this game. And
I'm not saying I won't watch games that have been spoiled. I'm saying it takes a lot of the fun out for me. It sucks it out almost completely.
That's
normal.
Nag.
That is normal.
Is James a nag?
I do understand where James is coming from, because there are certain times. It depends on what the sport is. If it's like a sport,
are you talking about like big marquee matchups?
I'm talking about games. I'm talking about games in general. There's certain games I don't care if I know the sport because I got no interest. But like to me, if you spoiled the world final for me, I might have to.
We're fighting on site. We're gonna go on site and we're gonna fight.
But it doesn't take away the fun.
that Faker
That's
had
the World
to
Finals.
win
We're
in
talking about basic LCS here. That's a bit different. Would
I don't
you
want
care
any
if
spoilers.
someone
If
spoiled
you tell me
Immortals
that
versus
Death,
Golden Guardians, or would you rather care if someone spoiled G2
if-
versus Fnatic? There's
if
levels to
you
this
just
stuff.
tell
Here.
me when I got offered, oh, yo, Jeff just stole the win from Faker, I'm beating your ass on fight. What? You tell me Faker just lost?
We're gonna fight outside.
No,
All I'm
ain't
saying
no
is that
fighting
there's a bit of levels to this. I would rather care about what's World Finals, right? That's a bit different
Look,
than
there are
Immortals
levels
versus Golden
which
Guardians.
What I care, like, I'm gonna care a little bit less about a game I wasn't really excited about, but I'm gonna care regardless because I know if I'm gonna watch a game, I want to not be spoiled. That's all I care about.
All right, guys, let's go into it. I destroyed Mr. Blanks and Mr. White Man at their arguments. I'm just
you
kidding.
ain't saying anything.
You didn't even argue the whole time. Besides when I
Talking out you guys' ass. You guys are talking out your guys' ass.
What
Fuck
argument
off.
have we had?
Oh my goodness.
What have we argued about?
I hate
Besides-
white people.
Besides the word cap.
Yeah, which I was right about. Like, what the hell?
No.
You said I was wrong. You were like, it's the wrong word.
The more professional word a lot of people use is plateau.
I was thinking
or
about that,
level
but
out.
I thought it meant the same
No.
thing, and it means the same thing.
It does.
but
Okay,
it's
okay. The thing with cap is cap can mean a lot of words. Level out is just like when you flatline or something where if you know that you can't get you can't. If you know your audience doesn't go any higher than this, you can't say cap because it's I'm gonna be Jazz, I like.
Chaz just started becoming a LOL fan, and he already has better knowledge of the game than an esport than MSK. You know what? My knowledge is right. If there was interest in watching the LCS, them viewers numbers would go up.
You gotta
Yeah, but no one's disagreed with that.
No, okay, no, you gotta realize I was watching League, but I had no interest. I was mainly watching.
Georgia Hunter Thieves because the women were hot.
No, it was their Valorant team and CS:GO. That's why I started watching on 100C. They were winning. I was like, you know what?
They used to have a CS:GO team. Yeah, I remember that.
What got me into the scene big was I was gonna try out for a team because I eventually you hit Diamond 2 and you can actually try out. I hit Diamond 2, and it just there wasn't tryouts anymore by the time I got there. It was just like
I peaked at Challenger, and they told me I wasn't good enough. So that's how it works. I peaked at rank 1
killed
NA.
me, dude. Because I was like, the moment I hit the line where you can actually qualify to be a professional, they're like, you know what? We don't do tryouts anymore. You have to be there now. You have to just be in the right spots. You have to be seen. All these things that no longer really exist.
What you need to do is be streaming, carrying. What you need to do is have a team where you play your champion and you carry the whole fucking game.
I'm just saying, there was a time
you carry my newbie ass. You carry MSK's. Running it down as
I don't run it down, you motherfucker.
I'm a little
run it down because I just started playing the game in August. MSK, if you run it down, your black ass been playing for how long?
2
How
years.
long you been playing?
2 years.
Bullshit.
All right, let's go to our LCS 2023 Spring Split Power Rankings. I was going to do actually in front of you guys. Makes it a little more exciting who I'm
I agree. I have to make mine too, so I'm excited. Let me see.
All right, so I go over the teams one more time. We'll have this a bit smaller. So, girls like it big, bigger, or better, obviously. Oh my goodness. All right, so
just love it good.
All right.
If you give it to them good, they'll take it.
Immortals or Golden Guardians. These are definitely competing for 9th or 10th.
Immortals is my bottom team.
Let me see Golden Guardians. I have to remember.
Golden Guardians, Licorice River.
So I will say there are a few things I want to say about Immortals that I think are relatively exciting. I think Blaze Olive is not bad. I don't think he's a bad player. I think Fleshy is he was arguably one of the best players inside of Turkey last season. Trash. 100 trash. You just put him at 5. Okay. I'm just saying, I think he was one of the best supports coming out of that region, so which actually is exciting. On top of the fact, I don't think Tactical is completely done yet. I could see a bounce back with a better support, which I think he might be getting this split. Like, it might be a possibility for him to grow as a player. Revenge, obviously. These are a lot of question marks, which is why I would put them probably in 9th in comparison to a team which we know is going to be bad.
Revenge was the single worst player in the league.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not specifically talking. That's one person specifically.
Kenvi never had a good game. His game knowledge was abysmal. He didn't know what he was doing on the map.
I don't agree with that because game knowledge for junglers specifically usually comes from coaching staffs. So I won't hold that against him. I think that he was bad.
Their coaching staff was trash.
Well, no, I'm agreeing with that, but I think what is the coaching staff?
They have Smithy now going into the split so that he may be able to help him out.
I'm saying I think the discrepancy between Immortals right now is the fact that Jungle is one of the roles that can benefit the most from a good coaching staff because of the fact that they're so centric around movement around the map. And that's just knowledge that comes down from coaching. I think Smithy could help with that because I do think he's a smart guy.
But if you're just asking me just based off like last, Blitzolf actually was good. I'll say that.
Yeah.
It was good. Tactical ran it. This guy had so many bad games. His positioning was bad. His positioning stunk on the map. But I was gonna have Golden Guardians probably 10th and IMT 9th anyway.
I would agree with that because of the fact I think the only person I'm genuinely kind of excited for is maybe Licorice. I mean, he wasn't that bad.
At one point, I did have TSM as 10. I think TSM. I think they're going to regress. They're definitely in the bottom 3. TSM they're going to regress this year.
Do you think they're going to regress this year? I mean, there's not much to regress from, is the thing. It's not like they can't get much worse. They got.
I don't think TSM's going any higher than 7.
What I hate about TSM is that they got solo, and I think it's time to give up on the solo experiment. They could have at least attempted because they're not competing this year. There's no reason to not try and at least see. There are a lot of successful top laners inside of the academy scene that they could have went for instead of bringing up solo, who is a proven nobody.
There was a rumor that they could have went after Tenacity if someday didn't leave 100 Seas. There was a rumor, but that was quickly short.
I think the problem, like TSM's roster to me is solo is a bargain bin impact. Boogie is a player they got from Mexico. Now remember, they got They got Mia from Mexico, played him for 3 weeks and got rid of him. Well, in the academy thing, got rid of him at the end of the season. So I don't trust anybody who comes from Mexico because Jose Dioto also sucks in that region.
Let's not go too crazy. He was ranked number 1 in the.
He was probably eating them enchiladas over there, and that's why.
No, he's ranked. 1. That's our solo queue. They've used this like they don't have their own.
So then, I liked Maple. I thought Maple was actually good for TSM.
I thought Maple was okay. Don't say good.
Neo, I thought he was a pretty underrated.
I think Neo is not bad. I think that Maple was good enough. I think that Fleshy
Chime was pretty solid.
Chime was good. I said Fleshy. Chime is good. I think Chime has talent.
I think this roster to me doesn't seem like 6 to 5 to 1 worthy. This is like a 7th place roster at most to me. I just don't see the ceiling in it. Like maybe they might get some wins if Maple pops off, but other than that, I don't really see it.
I want to see how Boogie does. I'd like to see if he's bad or not because I think that it's not impossible that he's a good player. I mean, again, he was ranked number 1 for a reason. It's possible it amounts to, but he was again. Pointing out he was rank 1 from being an Evelyn solo trick.
Yeah,
that is how he got ranked 1. I think it's a tie between CLG for 7th and the other teams I'll start putting here. Because, like, I think CLG was good last play. I think they legitimately were good enough for, like, LCS standards. Yeah. But I don't see them repeating that success again.
I mean, my problem...
Dokla
Contracts, Palafox, Luger, and Poon.
I thought Luger was great.
It's just the same team as last time, right? They're just running it back again.
They're literally doing the 100 Thieves thing, man. That's all they're doing.
Nah, I think everything.
So doing the 100 Thieves thing with essentially worse players.
Would argue, now that I've looked at it, that CLG is 10th.
Know what? That I can see that. No. I think Immortals is. I think to me, Immortals is number 10.
I think Immortals is better than both Golden Guardians and CLG. With arguably better, like they have better upsides. They have an arguably comparable team. What?
They're definitely better than Golden Guardians. Golden
Guardians is number 10 for me. I think CLG is a question mark if they're better than they look really bad on paper to me.
Okay, my thing here is the only reason there's a good reason why CLG could be better than a lot of these guys. They didn't change any players. That's a nice thing for spring.
My thing about definitely not last white guy smoking crack. I mean, what is the reality?
He's been smoking crack for a long time.
That's
we know this. He's been crack forever.
I don't think I'm going to be wrong about this, to be honest with you.
I don't think there's anything above 6.
They have possibilities where they have decent upsides because Luger's not bad. I don't think they have.
Palafox kind of looked pretty good last split to a certain
Looked
extent.
okay. I mean, it was the exact. I thought Palafox would be a better version of. I'm better than a Blaze Olive when they both came into the scene. It's obviously not the case, which is unfortunate.
They both looked good. I'll say that. Yeah.
Blaze Olive has been better, but I just Golden Guardians. You're right. They probably are 10th because of the fact that I think that CLG with just Palafox and Poom, Luger are probably better.
Like Golden Guardians are playing.
IMT is.
Like, that's the
IMT
thing.
is too many question marks for you to confirm that, though. I mean, that's the big thing for IMT, in my opinion. I think the fact is
players are bad. Fleshy was bad.
Fleshy is arguably one of the best.
He's going to improve tacticals, laning in his positioning.
I can't argue that. I can't argue with tactical specifically. I think Revenge is garbage. I think
Kenvy's bad.
No, Kenvy is, again, his biggest problems came from decisions around roaming around the map, which I think can be improved. Again, one of the best improvements you can that come from getting a better coaching staff is the best role for it is jungle.
No, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is his actual individual plays when he had to make decisions on the map by himself, he failed at all of them.
That was
on his own decisions.
Look, most of them came down to the fact that he was on the wrong side of the map constantly. That's really the reality. That is fixed by knowing where to be on the map before anything happens.
But also those kind of mistakes are the mental errors where those are able to be fixed, but that right there.
I mean, Xmithie can tell how to fix those things, but is he able to translate that onto the stage?
I don't know that for a fact. I'm just saying the fact is I think Kenvy, a lot of his problems can be salvaged from a better coaching staff, and that's why
But you still wouldn't have him above 9th, right?
Immortals?
Yeah.
It's a question mark whether or not I'd put them above CLG.
So where would you have TSM?
TSM is 8. That is above all three of those. I think they'd be 7 for me.
Okay, so this is where I'll keep CLG. This is my bottom 4. I don't see the upside in TSM.
I'm not saying Kenvy is good.
To me, I think TSM might be theirs might be TSM's last year as an org. If shit hit the fan with the FTX completely, they might have to sell their team. They might have to.
Oh, we know River is gonna play Jarvan. This man played Jarvan every game he could. That's not debatable.
TSM's roster, it is
River is
Solo, Boogie, Maple, Neo, and Chime.
River, literally, unless Chime is on a playmaking support, Maple's on a Azir, Syndra, fucking
River's on what team again? Immortal, right?
Zoe or Silas. Okay, if you guys have been watching the Demacia Cup, the meta's pretty much the same, except Zeri's back and Kasante's back, and you can play Fiora. That's essentially this. Oh, and Xin Zhao's back actually now too. There's a few differences now. Oh, and you can play Silas more. So the meta is still the same. So
so I will disagree, but the meta has shifted, and on top of the fact, because of how busted some things are, the game is going to look a lot different in January. That is the reality of it. This is the preseason, so the game is not going to look the same. The biggest thing in the league game right now is how completely busted bruisers are. They're slowly is a little below mid. I think I would say that TSM's above CLG for me, but regardless, I think the game is shifting drastically. The game is right now currently in a spot where it's bruiser dominated. We could look at Ravenous Hydra. We could look at which has been nerfed, which is fair, but Death's Dance and all these kind of synergistic bruiser items, which has led to more aggressive top laners getting a larger share of.
Do you think Kasante will just be first banned every single game, bro?
I think Kasante is not going to be. I think he's going to be strong in the beginning of the spring split. I think he's going to fall off towards the end because he's going to get a little bit of nerfs. I don't think it's going to be anything I think it's just going to be numbers. It's not going to be anything taken away from his kit because it's not an overloaded kit like a lot of releases, which I appreciate. But he has a large amount of stats built into a lot of combining things. Again, he can't use a lot of his enhanced abilities until he uses his ult and gets to that whatever that mode is called. I forgot when he amped up, I believe. When he uses it, his ult is incredible. I will say I think his ult is one of the best in the games for specifically specifically just how impactful it is on taking somebody out of the fight or bringing a carry into the wrong spot where they can't get out of, because it moves a lot of distance, it covers a lot of terrain. So I'm excited to see what he does. but I don't think that makes, regardless, I don't think that benefits any team, so I don't really know if it's worth talking about because everybody's going to be able to play him. He's not very complicated.
His counters are going to be what? Fiora, Urgot, Aatrox, right? Anyway,
like everybody, everybody who plays top lane is countered by those.
Now this is a problem with 6-1. So my number one team, you already know. I've said this a while ago. I said this last episode. It was going to be EG's my number one team. So 6. So I think FlyQuest go right here.
No.
I don't know. No, my bad. It's Dig.
I was about to say Dig.
FlyQuest, Fat Gox, Team Liquid, and you'd probably have the rest of them here.
I don't know if I agree with you on that.
I disagree. I disagree with every one of your picks. Not even close.
I think if you want to put this thing, 100 Thieves would probably go.
To me, they're number 5 right now. They're number 5.
I don't agree with Cloud9 being that high at all.
Oh no, Cloud9 to me is Cloud9. I didn't have him. I had him at matter of fact, I had one to see that 4. I had Cloud9 at 5th. I think losing.
I would probably switch this with because I don't
know. I got FlyQuest at 3. I'm looking at what these guys are doing. I'm like, damn, these guys look a lot better.
I think we're just going to be talking about regular season, right? Oh, this is how it pans over the whole split.
You got Cloud9 at 2?
I would probably say so.
Nah, that's tough. EG to me, I see him as number 1. I can also see him being number 5. I can see.
You can see anything though. That's just the reality.
So start off with Dig. I think people are writing too much on name value here. Arma trash last season, garbage. Turbo sprinted it the whole year essentially.
Oh no, yeah, no.
Santorin was the best player in Team Liquid, so that's to be a massive upgrade over Zayu. Jensen did not play good last split. This is like from the biggest Jensen fan. He played bad last split.
He did just come back, and I do think he's going to have a better split next split. At the very least, a little
Spawn had a few cool Jinx games that they didn't win. I mean, he's not good. Ignore has fallen off a cliff a lot.
It's been a while since
But
Biofrost not been good for a while.
But Biofrost is gonna be the main.
No, he's gonna be the sub. That's a
sub. Oh
yeah.
Biofrost. My problem with Biofrost.
Biofrost is sub. Oh no, yeah, Dig's definitely 6. Because I saw Biofrost.
I think people are looking at names on paper, but in reality, if you look at the past splits, these guys did not play good. Ignore is terrible on Immortal. Yeah, that more than Turbo sprinted it the whole split. He was playing with Lost.
I was about to say that whole team was garbage last
It's
year.
not just been one split that I think Ignor's been bad, though. I think he was genuinely still under, pretty bad the previous split.
No,
I think
last year, I went back and watched as much games as possible. Immortals was straight trash last year. I don't know how they got the motherfuckers got 4 wins?
3 and 14.
3 and 15, I think. 4 to 14, 3.
Now, I will put a caveat and asterisk on this. This is hopium, so
hopium. I got C9. I got C9. 100 C to C9 to me are 4 or 5. Whichever one you want to put.
There's too many questions marks here. I don't think they'll be a good regular season team. I don't think. I think they'll be a better playoff team actually.
Oh yeah, no, because I think they're going to ramp it up. I think right now with watching them play the solo queues, they're getting all the bugs out.
This is going to be a pun right here. I know because this is TL's mascot. This is a pun, but it makes sense. This is my dark horse to win the split.
I got Team Liquid 4. I got them right below. I think FlyQuest is going to be a lot better. I think FlyQuest is going to be the team that might be the best team in the regular season, and then they might get fucked.
Here's why I don't know if that's the thing, man. Because with FlyQuest, okay, let me go back to roster again. I think Impact, super underrated player after all these years. People still kind of don't see the value of him. I think he's good. I think he's a big impact, a big upgrade over Phillip. Speaker's a big upgrade over Jose Dioto too. I just don't know if these two players have the good play style together. Impact and Spica is playing together. I don't think it's going to work, really.
Spica's going to be the weakest player on that team.
And by, not work, I mean more like this is going to be an underwhelming topside duo. And since we know that we're going to play Cassante, you're going to want to get that champion head. I don't think Spica and Impact will be a great duo together.
And then
Vickle and Prince cannot talk to these other guys either.
I mean,
I think Prince he'll be amazing. I think Prince is going to just be
Look,
awesome.
I'm gonna say there's too many question marks on this team. There's not a defined leader on this team for everybody to put them as high as they are. I mean, the reality is their mid laner is a ever been in a professional team yet.
No, he was on KT roster. Remember?
I thought he was on the academy team only.
No, he was in the he played for KT in the LCK summer split.
Oh, okay. I must have. Okay, my fault.
He was the Zoe player. He was the one who was always playing Zoe.
Okay. Well, Prince is obviously good. I don't think anybody's going to deny that.
Massive upgrade over Johnson. That's good right there.
Oh god,
Ayla is a massive upgrade over Alpha to a certain extent.
Prince could play blindfold to be a better upgrade to Johnson.
I don't hate Johnson.
I don't hate Johnson. To me, the only time he actually played extremely great was against 100 seed. Every other team he was average or ass. I was like, how did it gets 100 seed? This motherfucker plays like he's fucking Michael Jordan, but the other time this motherfucker play like he's Kwame Brown. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, because I watched a lot of FlyQuest games, and I was wondering how they beat 100 seeds twice, but then they can't beat anybody else. This in the same
play style just directly counter theirs. That's pretty much all it is. Because that's how some teams are. Like your team is better on paper, but if that team has a better play style to counteract yours, you can't.
How do they become a team that is able to turn on a dime and make plays happen? There is going to be slight communication issues.
I'll say this: they become the double lifts. You know how I think 100 Thieves might just devolve into a double lift carry team. I think FlyQuest will be that, but I think Prince is better than double lift. So
I think
that might get us some more wins.
Look, they have a lot of good players and a lot of talent on this team. I think the biggest problem I'm having with this team specifically is the fact that
I think FlyQuest might be too many questions, not 100 Thieves.
That's what I'm specifically I'm talking about that.
Well,
I'm talking about FlyQuest right now. Don't say that, please.
Jesus, don't say that while we're on the stream. If you're by yourself, then you could, make yourself come on.
I still don't understand the Cloud9. Cloud9, regardless, is below all four of these teams of 100 Thieves, Team
to me,
Evil
go back
Geniuses.
to Cloud9.
Fudge.
Cloud9 is the same team, but
it's just Diplex. That's all it's there. Fudge, actually, okay, for LCS standards, Fudge has been a top 4 LCS top laner ever since he came into the league. Essentially, he's been pretty good at the LCS standards.
But that's
LCS standards.
But that's kind of by default, though. Like
some splits.
You kind of get put by default as the top 4 because it's like who else? Like you're not better than Someday. You're not better than Whipple. Would you say he was better than Whipple last year?
Pretty on par.
He was about average at times. He was better. Sometimes he was worse.
No, I think Team Liquid is also rated too high. I would say mine would be Cloud9 number 5, Team Liquid probably number 4.
Okay,
FlyQuest 3.
Who's 6 for you?
Well, for Team Liquid,
6 through 10 for the most part don't change for me.
Okay,
6 is definitely Dig, maybe Dig even a little lower than that.
I think the hardest ones right here are these teams because people think Team Liquid. Okay, Ziak, I'll answer that. Summit destroyed the LCS.
Yeah, I think I agree with.
And now
Summit.
He has a better team that can facilitate his.
My problem with it is the fact that we got the academy mid laner coming in. We got Piosik, who is way too overrated right now. He's not as good.
I agree with that.
He's way too overrated right now. People are giving him too much credit for something I think he only played really well during Worlds this year. I think overall, beyond that, I don't.
He pretty much ran it down most of the year.
Yeah, I don't think. I think Team Liquid is overrated. Summer,
but the fucked up thing is they're gonna they rather take that overrated than
getting gapped.
Our players get fucking gapped. The LCS teams in the world, we got smoked. They rather take a PO and over.
My thing here is if you're just going by LCS standards, Fudge and Blabber are a pretty good duo no matter what. Blabber is going to be a top 4 LCS jungler because that's just he's only just apply to LCS, not Worlds, obviously. Diplex is really the only question mark. I mean, I don't think Sven is the best support by any means. I think he's not a good support in general. But if he plays Tom Kench and those champions that they know he's good at, that's going to get them wins if he's comfortable on them. Berserker, arguably the best ADC next to Prince, probably, right? Yeah. They're only switching out one player. If they can just get this guy acclimated to the team, I think they'll be fine.
Or they might have to hide him at the weakest piece. Like
he'll definitely struggle. I promise. There's gonna be weeks where he's gonna struggle pretty hard.
I think that you're giving too much credit for the fact that Fudge is top 4 because of the fact that everybody besides the top 3 is garbage.
He's top
it's
4 by
impact.
default, James. That's the sad part.
It's the reality of it is he's not as bad as the rest of them, but
That's
he
like
can't compete with the top 3. I mean,
that's
impact
like a basketball
someday,
being a like top 5
Summit.
center. It's like it's only 10 good centers. That means you're going to be top 5 by. And that's the thing too with
I'll just say
Fudge.
so. He did play very well against Someday in the finals. He did gap him pretty hard. I'm just saying.
Man, that whole team was broken, man. Shut the fuck up. You know damn well.
I'm just saying.
But it wasn't that big of a gap. Like, because when Fudge made his mistakes, like Sunday capitalized with ease. That's the thing too.
You know what? I actually, for some reason, I forgot
you
that
spelled ages wrong. MK, you spelled fucking ages wrong. Jesus.
I forgot that I just completely forgot 100 Thieves existed, and I was like, how many teams do I have left? I got back to 100 Thieves. I was like, why have I not put them lower than this? Because I don't think they're gonna be top 2, and they were one of the last 2 teams I had to say. So I think I'm gonna have to restructure. I do think actually, if I think about it, I think that puts Evil Genius is still number 1 for me, and then FlyQuest. But I do think I was thinking about what teams were left, and I mean like Cloud9. I think you're rated 2. I still want to say I think they're 5. I think number 4.
That's why you don't see asterisks here.
I see the asterisks.
Thank you for the context. I think EG on paper, this looks like the best team. I think, come on, like Someday best top laner, Inspired best jungler, right? Jojo Pion was one of the best mid laners. I think FBI will play better with Vulcan, and Vulcan was one of the best supports in the league.
I think EG's will be the number 1 team, but they will fail in the playoff.
Also, I mentioned that this is for. I mean, you could argue this is regular split standings. I think it's regular split standings, but I think these would be your playoff teams.
My thing is, I think a lot of these teams are going to struggle, regardless of their talent, with leadership structure inside of the game itself, and a lot of shot calling problems that are going to be prevalent because of communication issues that aren't really covered up by a decent coaching staff.
This is what I see. The number 1 team, whoever the number 1 team is, it's not going to be too far ahead of 2, 3, or 4. It might be like number 1 team is 12-6, the 2, 3, or 4 might be 11-7, 10-8. To me, it's the number 4, 5, and 6 are going to be 1 game apart. It's going to come down to that final week. 9 and 10 might be teams that only have 2 wins all fucking season, like because they are like, to me, who I see TSM and Golden Guardian being 9 and 10. I have no faith in them too. Immortals might sneak up at number 8, and they might be the team. They might 1-1. These 3 bottom teams are going to be the worst fucking team, and I can see every team 2-0.
You see a TSM video where they were like, yeah, we wanted to kind of win the split. No, you do not want to win a split. Putting together a roster like this.
I want to see the biggest question mark, and the team that I think is going to be the biggest discrepancy from last place to first place is going to be 100 Thieves for me. I think there's a lot of problems when I see a lot of people that are coming back into the league with double lift coming back in and stuff like that. But I also think there's a lot of chemistry already inbuilt, and there's going to be a lot of decent communication things that are going to be solved with a lot. There's going to be a lot of talking in this team because I think there's a lot of vocal people on this team. That's why I have hopes for them. It's not because I've
been watching their solo queue. They've been ramping up. That's my biggest thing is what's actual competition, because they've been beating a lot of the academy players over in Korea. That's it's like, all right, cool. That's tenacity. Like, to me, people think it's Beershon. I think my biggest thing is, how does Busio double up work? Because Beershon's going to play wherever he's going to be about the fourth, fifth best mid laner. He's going to get his weaknesses are going to get covered up by closers.
I don't think he's going to be. I think he'll probably be. Let me see what mid laners I'd really put above him. Let's see.
For the mid laners?
I don't think there's going to be that many. I don't think he's going to be a large weakness in the NA specific.
I think he'll be a default best mid laner, like top 4 maybe.
He's going to be top 4 because I got because you got Beershon, you have
Bjergsen, Diplex, Palafox, Jensen, Jojo
Jensen,
Pion,
maybe Jojo Pion.
Vikla,
Vikla
Gory,
50-50, no.
IMT as a Blaze Olive. A Blaze Olive was definitely doing work against him early this year.
Beergen. I think now Beergen been studying. He's gonna come back and smoke.
See, my problem
He's gonna
here,
smoke everybody that beat him last year. He's learning how to beat him now. That's me.
See, my thing here is like I've been watching the same things you have been. The thing here, I see the way it do is like it. How is this team gonna function on the stage when they have to put all that practice and knowledge into the game? Because it's way different to do it in solo queue in a much more relaxed environment. You know, how does it happen on the stage? Because like,
look, you can say whatever you want. They had a lot of success because in the past they had very good communication between the team.
I mean,
that's something. I
wouldn't say it's communication. I would say it's Beerus and Double of telling people, "Hey, we're doing this," and that's it. That's really
communication.
It's not like that now. I think what it is I think Beerus is someone does that. His thing is if you see how all five of them are playing, it's like Tenacity and Boosie are going to be the rookies. They're really all right, cool. But like I see this play, and then he's going to because double in a sense right now is like he still has the I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I know how to play, but it's like he needs Boosie. He literally needs Boosie to support him.
Another thing that I have is the closer. The problem here is I've seen this too many times with Bjergsen, and it's like pair him up with a decent jungler. It still fails with synergy with this guy. Why is closer gonna be any different this time? I've seen this so many years, so many splits. If this is a split that changes it, sure.
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you right real quick. Because what they're gonna do midpoint, they're going to leave Beergen alone, and it's fucked up. What closer is going to actually help Tenacity more than Beergen. That's the thing. Mid lane is going to be the lane where it's going to be their weakest. That's the thing too. What it's going to be is one of the either top or bot lane. That's going to be the lane that gets closed up early, and then mid lane is the one they're going to wrap up last. If you see 100Cs going through any lane into the to the Nexus, it's going to be for the top and bottom. It's not going to be for the middle. That is the number one thing, and because they're going to take out the sides that they can use the jungle to get through.
Also, another thing is like if 100 are trying to compete to win, like Tenacity coming in, there's a pretty stiff competition here for top lane, a little bit, and toward the top end, obviously. He's going to get railed by Summon. He's going to get absolutely railed by this guy. That's not close. Summon's going to Sumday's going to rail him, right? Fudge is going to do very well against him.
I don't think some days. No, Fudge isn't that good.
I'm gonna tell you why. Someday Tenacity play almost the same style. Tenacity has no fear, unlike Someday. I think Someday got kind of fucked up last year. That works against him instead of Tenacity. Fudge, I think Fudge had a good game against a broken 100C. This is not the same 100C.
I think Impact,
and Summer are the only two I have concerns for.
I don't know what's the real upside to this guy. Like, that's why I have them fifth. Like, what's their real upside? I think
you haven't been watching the MSK. You trust me. When I say I watch games, I'm at work watching these games. The Impact and Summit are the only two I'm concerned. Someday, I gotta see how he's playing now, because before he was the one that had to kind of carry the team, him and FBI. That's why 100Cs were broken. Who he over there he's conflicting with FBI. Abadage just he's in his own fucking lane, no pun intended. And closer is he's tilt proof, but he can only do so much. Oh no, Double Lift gonna get smoked.
I'm not gonna say anything about Double Lift until I see it, because again, there's not enough recency.
Busio right now is carrying Double Lift. That's why I say if you see it as long as Double Lift has to pick the champion, Double Lift Busio whatever champion is squishy. The other one has to be a tank, and as you know, sometimes people pick too tanky. No, you need one that 80 carry. to me, his main team is either going to have to be Jinx or Misfortune. It's going to have to be because Busio sometimes plays some squishy supports. It's like it works a solo queue because you're able to get away with it. Because you have to start counter picking who the other team you're playing against. Because sometimes you can pick two squishies and fucking wreck.
That's the thing, man. Is all these. The problem here is that I don't think they're going to come together.
And that's the thing with every team to me, and because when I look at Evil Geniuses, that's the team I'm like, I think we're overhyping them. I truly believe someday, and trust me, I love me some Sunday. Okay, of course he's better than Tenacity right now, but I don't have any fear when they go against each other. I feel like
Someday is probably the second best top laner in the league to me.
The problem here is
Someday.
Yeah,
I would say
Summit actually played insanely well, man.
Summit is number one. Someday.
Yeah, Summit and Someday are definitely top two.
Yeah. But I'm not worried for Someday against Tenacity.
The problem here, dude, is like even if Tenacity can hold his own, they're gonna know he's a weak link on the team, and they're going to go up there and attack him. I don't know how he's gonna deal with that.
He's not gonna be the weak link. The weak link is the middle laner. I'm telling you guys this right now. From watching the game,
not saying he isn't. No, I don't disagree with that. I'm not saying he isn't. I'm saying Bjergsen's not gonna be a weak link. What I mean is like
he is the weakest link.
No, because if they know that I don't think for a second Bjergsen or Closer synergy will be good at all throughout the entire year.
It's not what defines a team. That is only one aspect of mid lane.
That's why you
don't have to have a team that revolves around jungle mid synergy. It's not.
If they're trying to win, if they're trying to go to MSI and win internationally, it worked for Evil Genius. That was one of the reasons why Evil Geniuses weren't that good.
What is the most important thing? Is support jungle synergy. It is the most important combination in the game.
It's whatever jungle synergy with top or mid. Like I'm saying, people haven't watched enough Tenacity game. Is he over? I don't want to say overrated. Probably overhyped, but not overrated. I think the thing is Summit. Of course, that motherfucker's dangerous coming over from the LCK. Is it LCK? Yeah, LCK.
LPL, LCK.
LPL, yeah. Coming from over there, that's already dangerous. Someday, very dangerous. But thing is, you got to realize, as someone who is his replacement, whatever. Not really, but you already know how Someday plays. That's why I say I'm not afraid for Tenacity with Someday. He already know how.
If Double F does well, it is literally the team around him. Not saying he will be terrible, but there is no way he will be great. It is because he is with the best young upcoming support in LCS.
Yeah, I will say the only proof we have of that is his most recent split, but he has a lot of splits against that to disprove. Yeah. I'm going to say I don't know if he's going to be good or bad. I don't expect him to be good.
Where do you have him at then?
I already said 5. I'm just saying the reason we brought him up is because I said they're the biggest question mark in the league for me.
I got them at 4. I got C9 at 5. I think that middle lane. I think Diplex right now is a question mark. I wanted to see the C9 literally back and forth. It goes day by day. Who's 4 or 5? To me, it comes down to me. Like I said, Cloud9 wanted to see his biggest weakness are the mid laners. So, but how's Bjergsen the mid laner? Weak mid laner. He wants the game to go through him. That right there, when you have a closer who's a jungler, and doing what he does, he can work either top or mid. Like Tenacity could hold his own in the top. Bjergsen needs someone else to assist with him. That right there, if he can't hold his own lane, because Abadage was able to work by himself to a certain degree. Bjergsen's not that kind of dude anymore. Double lift and Busio, Busio, a lot of times it's going to have to pick a champion like a Seraphine or someone, not Seraphine all the time, but like someone who could do damage and also get killed if Double Lift decide, he misses shots or he has an off day. That's going to be the biggest thing. Cloud9 Diplex is a 50-50. Like everybody else is great or good. But the thing is, we don't know how that holdover, because I've been looking at.
Do you think they'll be good if Diplex is good, but just average if Diplex is just bad?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the same thing I have with the 100 Thieves and the rest of the teams too. Is like if you look at a lot of these teams and how they're constructed, by what you just brought up, that means they're going to have a lot of issues on how they want to play the game. Because if Closer is going to be dedicated to Beerson, I mean, I know Double. I've seen him play for a lot of years. He's going to want Closer in his lane. That is for sure going to happen. And they're going to have many.
Stop
problems.
acting like Bjergsen is going to devolve into somebody who requires constant jungle proximity. It's happens, but it's not required.
At the time, he's not even going to want jungle proximity. That's the thing, too. He's
going to be okay. I'm saying that if in an isolated scenario in the LCS, if they're not doing so well, it's going to come down to one of two things: either we play through mid lane or we play through bot lane.
Yeah,
they're not going to trust to play through tenacity. They're not going to trust that. So that's only going to devolve into one of two things.
Because they never need. Okay, the thing with playing, you don't need to play for tenacity. All you need is tenacity to hold the top lane. If he holds top lane, that's the major thing you need to do. If he holds top lane, he doesn't need to completely take it over. But if he holds it long enough for the bot lane, 80 carry and support to actually get it revved up, that's when you start winning.
Look, the big thing is, what was I just talking about? Hold on. Tell me what you just said. I had a point to go off of you.
Talk about 100. Talk about 100 Cs.
We're talking about
playing through the map, right?
Playing through the map.
Not
exactly. What Chad said or I said?
Somebody talked and I forgot what was I saying. I was talking about.
All black guys look the same to you?
Just talk. It was something you said specifically.
What I mean is like if they have an issue, let's say if they're in a scenario in a split where they're not doing so well, and this happened on Team Liquid too, where they decided they're going to play through ball.
Oh yeah, I remember what I was going to say now. So the problem I'm saying is, if you have a team that can play through all three lanes well, you have a world-class team. So you're overestimating how often that's able to be done. Like you're giving them negatives to other teams, which you wouldn't do it to. Most teams cannot play through all. Tell me 3 teams that can play through all 3.
I didn't say they have to play through tenacity. What I'm saying is
they can't in an
isolated scenario in the LCS. Let's say they're not doing too well, and it has to come down to either Bjergsen or Doubles carrying the game, and it's going to devolve because your jungler can only go so many places to give attention to the lanes.
If you can have a team that can play through all 3 lanes well, you're going to have a team that is going to win the LCS.
I agree. This is the LCS. That's not happening.
That's. I'm just saying. They can play through 2 lanes. That's good enough. You're expecting too much.
Yeah.
Based on what we're expecting them to do, it's going to be bot and mid. We don't know if they can. We're just saying.
No, that's what I'm saying. The reason why I have them lower is because I think when the LCS is going and let's say they're not doing too well, I think it's going to be an issue for them in winning some games, kind of figuring out who they want to play through to actually win the games that they need to win consistently.
So you're saying they can only play through one player then?
No. I'm saying it's going to be we'll have to see. I'm saying we'll have to see who they're going to play through.
I think
the player that they play through is going to be their play style.
They're not going to play through one player alone. It's going to be one of the 2.
I think if they start losing enough games, they will.
Well, you know what? If they start losing, then everything anybody ever says is not going to be relevant. It doesn't matter. So your world is worst case scenario.
Is my list capped?
Yeah.
What was your list?
What was your list? 5 Team Liquid, 100 Thieves, Cloud9, FlyQuest. I actually almost agree with that. I would put 100 Thieves at 5 or Cloud9 at 5 and then Team Liquid at 3. I do think they're going to be a little better. I think I do have a lot of question marks about Team Liquid, but I do think they have the talent to just blow away most of the competition. There's just too many good players on that team.
My thing here with Cloud9 is there's a world where they get 5th place in the split. I mean, they got 5th place in the last split, so it's not out of this world that you can get 5th place in. But I think we had a pretty good discussion on most of the teams. The team that I might have another question mark on is the FlyQuest. I see the potential in FlyQuest. I do. The issue here is getting the Korean players acclimated is going to be their biggest problem. I think Vikla is. When I saw his games, I thought I saw a pretty good player overall.
Yeah.
Prince, I think, is going to be with Berserker as the best ADCs in the league, so it's going to be a competition between them. I think FBI will bounce back a little bit. I think he'll have a good spring split. He might even be MVP worthy actually when he's playing with a new player. Maybe. Very possible.
Maybe.
That's why 100 Thieves has to be fit. It's way too many question marks. I've seen these players play.
I put them at fit too. I agree, but I think they could be first to last. They're the biggest wild card in the league for me.
For me, I got them as fourth. I think them swapping out Jensen is going to hurt C9. I think now you're going to a new mid laner again. I think that's going to ruin some synergy. I think even with the 100 Cs, the whole team makeup can change. I think if C9 does not I think they have to go back to the drawing board, and I think they're going to regress back to what they were before. And then they're going to spring split. I see them fifth, in my opinion.
I would actually rather have them do it like this year, fail in spring and do well in summer, because summer's leading better to world. But my thing here is, if you're going for playoffs, obviously Cloud9 does traditionally well in the playoffs, so I'm not really worried about that. If we're talking about just regular split season, 100 Thieves, Team Liquid, Cloud9, they'll do well in the playoffs. That's just gonna be by the by. It's more like the regular split standings matter too, because it's gonna be who you're facing in the first round. Third faces six, right? Right? Yeah, third faces six in the first round. Yeah. So if TL gets third and 100 Thieves, did get six, they have to face Team Liquid.
In the top 4 or top 6 in the spring?
It's top 6 in the spring, actually. Yeah.
Oh, top 6 now?
Yeah. Well, for spring, it's top 6. Summers are top 8.
Oh, okay.
So if 100 Thieves get fifth, they'll have to face FlyQuest in the playoffs. And this is not the same FlyQuest we saw earlier this year. There's a different FlyQuest we're going to have. They could also bomb out too. That's very, very possible.
I think that's what I think the team that bombs out is going to be it's going to be Team Liquid. I got a weird feeling. I think something about watching Hayari. I think Team Liquid is going to be they're going to be the what if team of the year. If Team Liquid could be the team that goes 17-1, or
very possible too,
or they're the team that goes 7-11, but they're 6E.
I think they'll have a good regular record because of the Summit and PL6. I think PL6 will be a better jungler than Blabber was for Summit.
I think that top lane is good. To me, in Core JJ, but that 80 carry in mid laner that's the suspect. That's suspect.
Core JJ, he's not had that many great splits. It's been pretty suspect for him from a while.
Yeah, that to me, after the top in jungle, I don't know who to trust after that.
But I think they're gonna have so many same language talking people, the same ramen style.
Please don't do it.
They're all Korean. That's me. They will be able to understand themselves. But
so if they have an LCK team and an LCS system, well, we can finally see how that works.
Because they speak Korean doesn't make them an LCK team.
I mean, they're pretty much TLCK. That's what they are.
TLCK. Oh,
all
right, people have always said if you have full Korean roster, how would it work in the LCS? If that wins the LCS, oh god, we're fucking awful.
Imagine if Faker decided to come over here and he joined Team Liquid.
That would be automatically the best team, and that would
will say
Summit, PLC, Faker. Who would be a good 80 carry from LCK to come over?
Ruler, probably.
Imagine that. Imagine if Summit, PL6, Faker, Ruler, Core JJ over here. Them motherfuckers go 18-0. Who's beating them? I don't like
Dignitas. What are you thinking about, man? Come on, Dig got that on lock.
Matter of fact, they might go 17-1 because Justice will be like, I will take out Faker. He go beat Faker one time, and then the motherfuckers meet in the playoffs and Jensen gets absolutely smoked. I can see Jensen.
Dude, did you see my workout in your truck earlier?
I literally texted you. No,
you didn't. You didn't see it where I was sitting. No, where did I put it then? Okay, well, I might have to have your help with something after this then. So, I mean, we'll just talk here for another about 10 minutes. I'm gonna wrap it up, a little bit because I gotta get to bed and work in the morning. We might play ARAM later on tonight, maybe.
I got tomorrow. I got today off or tomorrow off. I mean, I'll be studying and playing ARAM.
I can't wait until my power rankings come out. Right, and everyone's like, "You were." I logically think about everything I'm saying, and I know
go back to the power rankings real quick. Go back to your rankings.
For mine, yeah.
Right, okay, because
I want people to screenshot this in the stream. Regular season only. This is regular season.
To me, switch IMT GGs. TSM. I want to put TSM at 10 so bad, but I'm keeping them at 8. CLG 7. Dig is 6. I'm putting. Do I keep C9 at, or do I put C9 at 5? Do I keep 100 C's at? Matter of fact, I'm gonna keep 100 C's at 5. I'm putting. No, matter of fact, put C9 at 4. They're way too high up there.
He's doing it because he believes in them because he's their fan.
Exactly.
I'm a 100 Thieves fan, but I'm putting them at 5. I've seen what they've been up to. The spring split is gonna be slow for them, but to me, whoever's 4th seed, they're getting beat by 100 Thieves. If 100 Thieves is 5th or 6th, whoever is 3rd or 4th better watch out. Team Liquid.
You mean they're losing first
game.
round in the playoffs? They're going 0-3, right? That's what they're doing.
No, they're going to fucking smoke.
They're going straight to the losers bracket after going 0-3 in the first round.
If them motherfuckers come back and win the whole thing, MK can suck the fattest dick.
So, I do want to say the changes to Championship Q, which are a big thing. That's probably the biggest thing that I think is a reason as to why the quality of solo queue quality of the league hasn't increased. A more refined system, which honestly, man, I could have qualified if I had played the previous season as much as I played this season as much as the previous season. I would have qualified for it too. I'm so sad.
The LCS begins in 3 weeks. The LCS begins in 3 weeks.
The Championship Queue. Do you know what the Champions Queue is? Do you guys?
I know what it is. Yeah.
Champions Queue is the thing.
It's a server that the pros ask for to play without the plebs on it.
So they get to do all this stuff. They get higher quality things. They get voice comms. Everybody gets in comms and stuff like that. I think it's a cool concept for everybody to increase their quality. And the thing is, more people are going to qualify for it because they've unrestricted a lot of people. Like the restrictions on who could qualify were huge before.
Because they were like, you had to be like Grandmaster or anything in Master first, right?
You had to. There was like, you couldn't be a streamer. You couldn't be a ex-pro player. You couldn't be.
All yeah, that sounds like Riot.
So it was like everybody. No one could make it.
No, it sounds like Riot. Riot is always strict on that stuff just for stupid reasons.
I mean, PewDiePie got like top ranked or something like that, and then they're like, "Oh no, you can't qualify," which was garbage.
Oh, we can do our series after this. We can do our. I'm gonna need your help with that one because we can do my new series after it. Well, I mean, the split starts on the 21st. We have still a few weeks away. They put the match schedule out for the LEC.
Oh hell yeah, let's go.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do that for my new series. For anyone who didn't watch my channel update video, so Monty and Thorin do the whole thing with competitive edge. We're gonna have a new series called Competitive Predictions. Now, I used to do this back in the day. I had to stop it because I was really busy. But now we're gonna have a place a bet on it. Competitive predictions will start. We'll do LEC, obviously LCS matches.
We used to do that on this channel back in the day when I ran it, actually.
Yeah, when you put in no effort to get.
No, when you uploaded 60 videos a day, I was like, "This isn't my channel."
But then your ass abandoned it like a worthless.
I would, like Joseph's dad abandoned him. I would have done twice. He's got abandoned.
Oh my goodness!
So
if anyone wants to play some so whoever gets the most points, gets the winner $20 in RP.
Okay.
What are
we betting on?
The LEC and LCS matches.
The matches? Week by week or
week by week, yeah.
You want to do $20 per week?
No. Just whenever it's finalized.
Okay. Oh, I see. Essentially, you get one person gets a point. Yeah. If you win the LCS, you get a point. If you get the one the LEC, you get a point. Or overall, all of them together.
If you pick G2, the first match is G2 versus XL. If you get that right, point, or that's how it would go. But we'll do that because it doesn't start until the 21st of January. So we still have. That's like still 3.
I'm gonna be hyper grinding League at the beginning of the season, so you won't see me for a while. I'm gonna get back up to high diamond, and I'm gonna be a menace.
So that's what we're gonna do. Also, we'll do it for the LCK too. Do you want to do it for the LCK? We can't really do it for the LPL, guys. There's too many teams.
I actually prefer the LPL over everything.
How many teams are there in the LPL?
17.
Oh Jesus! Okay, that's a lot.
Yeah, it's there's too many small-eyed people in this league, so I'm good.
Jesus Christ! Okay.
So LCK, their match. The LPL usually starts first. They usually do. The LPL. starts. We don't know yet. We don't even know, actually. But that's pretty much it. Overall, Cloud9, they will win one of the splits, I think.
Based off of what? Your fandom?
No, they have won a split ever. They've won at least a split for the past 2 years.
Freaks end. You realize
No,
that?
they don't. Not this year. It's happening. Next year it probably could happen, but not this year. I don't think they'll be going to MSI. I don't know. I think they'll eventually get rid of Sven because I don't think he's that good of a support. But I mean, if Berserker wants to play with him, sure. I mean, League at the end of the day is a game where if you like playing with the players you play with, then it does have an added benefit to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. New series competitive predictions will begin in about a few weeks. Actually, when I can get a day where me and James could do the matches for the LEC coming up. What happened for the LCS on the match schedule just posted, and Worlds is going to be for next year in Korea, which is thank God. I'd rather have it in there. Good job. Korea will be where it's be at. MSI, I don't know where it's gonna be at. MSI's gonna be in France, or it'll be in Europe or whatever. Actually, anything else you guys want to say about any of the teams we talked about?
No.
Nope.
If Double Lift and Bjergsen tag team Lena, I'm not surprised, honestly.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah. So I don't know how many of these episodes we actually do plan on doing sometimes, because I'll usually just actually post my Chump Day video. I'll be just doing commentary videos over like other people's content. There's some Thorin videos I'm gonna commentate over, and starting with those, and then other content will flow. Maybe maybe he's improved as a support player, but I definitely have to see that first. If Double Lift becomes the best ADC again, which I highly doubt, no way. I'm waiting for a second. Good damn. Let's see. What else? 19 now. Good job. 100 Thieves, they will live and die by these rookies. And I don't know. Like, would they swap these players out if things start going south?
Nah, because they invested too much in them. It's going to be... That's the
thing, man. People always say those things, man. But when the split starts and you start losing, people start turning a different tune. But I hope it's going to be different this year. Also,
it will be
confirmed.
Yeah, okay.
It's been confirmed that I am black. Actually,
yep, we know.
It's been confirmed that James is also black from the waist down. Right?
Shut up.
Do you want to put your fingers in my tight booty hole?
I actually do not want to do that. I will be honest with you. I don't want to do that. It's kind of gross, and you're icky, and you don't even wash your butt. You don't wipe. It smells like doo-doo constantly. Like, I don't want to do any of that.
It smells like juicy.
You
grapes.
got doodle marks in your underwear, and they show it goes down to your pants now because you haven't wiped in over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
I was literally trying to lick your ass yesterday.
This is why we need the Cookie the Cream podcast. You guys too banter is so the funniest shit.
This dude sucks off Bjergsen, and Bjergsen could go 0-10 in the game. He's
Man,
like, you're not playing bad. So.
If there was a bombing in London, he would find a way to blame Bjergsen for it because he's such a psychotic Bjergsen hater.
Yeah.
I don't even like
that's not even
Bjergsen,
true.
But you honestly,
this man will objectively run it down 0-10, and you'll be like, he didn't play bad. It was his jungler. What the fuck?
If you found it in a way to make it to his house, you would punch his grandma if you could because you were a psychopath.
Hey, he has got a hot girlfriend, actually. Right?
You
know what? That's why I loved it when Jojo Pion came up and clapped him. It shows people how overrated he actually is.
You're a hater.
This man got clapped by a 18-year-old kid who just started playing League. That is disgusting. That is bad.
Disgusting.
God,
what are you talking?
What's wrong with you? No. He embarrassed that guy on the stage. Bjergsen off my screen. Overrated
Bjergsen
player.
is unarguably the best of all time in terms of just legacy players from NA. There's no argument.
If you
make an argument for it?
If you play in the autistic league and you're the best in that, does that make you a good player, really?
I don't care what anybody says.
A 7-year-old 14. Man, almost embarrassed him in front of like thousands of people. That made my year. Actually, I was coming in my shorts when I saw that shit. At least Canadians agree with me. At least I know I'm not crazy.
Nah, anybody who doesn't at least appreciate Dirksen for what he did is goofy, and you are just too much of a hater.
I like to point out facts. That's just what I do.
Don't know how to point out facts.
See you later, everyone.